Hello everyone, my name is Mystical Essence and I am here to do some new moon pick-a-card readings for you all. So if you are new to watching me, welcome. If you are not new to watching me, welcome back. If you are watching me on Facebook, please feel free to like my page. If you are watching me on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe to my channel so that you can get updates on new posts I make. So I am an intuitive tarot and oracle reader. I love to help people along their spiritual journeys to develop and grow so that they can grow into the fullest versions of themselves as possible. And the way I do this is I use the tarot and the oracle as guides. So this new moon is in Pisces. Pisces has to do with surrender and finding your place amongst the stars and the universe and learning about yourself and surrendering things that you no longer need. The biggest thing about Pisces is surrender. It's that theme of surrender. So I just got new oracle cards in and that actually have to do with surrender. So we're going to use those in the readings today. If you like these readings and you would like to purchase a reading from me, I will leave the information for that in the description to this video if you're watching me on YouTube, and I will leave it in the comments if you are watching me on Facebook. So, here we go. We're going to start off with pile number 1. Okay, so let's see, pile number 1. Turn on. So, for number 1, we have the oracle card of surrender stress. This says, take a few deep breaths and exhale the tension you've built up in your body. Let the stress go as you come back to your center. And then we have the following tarot cards that are coming up. We have the World reversed. We have the Eight of Wands reversed. And we have the Three of Pentacles reversed. So I feel like a lot of this stress is because of blocked energy and stagnant energy. I'm seeing a lot of like wanting movement and wanting to move forward with things, but not necessarily being able to. And this feeling of being stuck. So when the World card comes up reversed, this is telling me that there's something that you want to be successful with that you're feeling you're not successful with. When this card is upright, this talks about being on cloud 9, you know, being overly happy about the achievements you've made, feeling super successful, being on top of the world, that kind of thing. When it is reversed, this talks about having the world on top of you, quite literally. Feeling like, you know, you just can't get ahead, feeling like no matter what you do, it's just not good enough. It kind of feels like the world is crumbling down on top of you when this is reversed. So I do feel like if you're one with this new moon, if you chose one, we have a lot of like being stuck in dwelling in unsuccess or feeling unsuccessful or unaccomplished, or you know, not being able to meet your achievements that you would like to meet. We also have the Eight of Wands coming up reversed. So the Eight of Wands is that manifestation card. It is all about making energy move, putting your intentions out there so that the energy can get in motion, it can move, and it can come back to you, kind of thing. Eights are all about transformation. So it's transforming energy, right? Putting your intentions out there so that energy can transform and materialize and come back to you in physical form. With the Eight of Wands reversed, though, when this card comes up reversed, this talks about manifestation maybe being stuck or being blocked or being slowed down, and things just aren't happening the way you want them to, things aren't occurring the way you want them to, things are really feeling stuck. So I feel like with this card reversed, you guys are definitely feeling, not only are you feeling unsuccessful and like you're unable to achieve what you want to achieve, you're really, really feeling stuck, and you're feeling like this energy just isn't happening for you. We have the Three of Pentacles also coming up reversed, which is telling me like you guys are really trying to you're struggling with the stress alone. I feel like when this card comes up, this card upright usually talks about teamwork, of working together. And Pentacles sometimes can talk about skill sets, right? Taking everybody's skill sets and blending them together to expand upon, different skills, different traits, so that you can learn from each other, expand, grow, and create something really beautiful. In this case, it is that masterpiece that she's working on painting. However, when it's reversed, this talks about kind of doing it alone, of isolating yourself, of not reaching out to people that could help you or potentially could help you. You're feeling like you have to deal with everything alone and do everything by yourself, which all of these cards can lead to very stressful situations. There's no wonder that you are under a lot of stress. Just things aren't happening the way you want them to. So what's coming up, we have advice for you in these cards as well. So with the three cards that came up, the advice for you, first of all, and there's advice in the Oracle card as well, which I will get to as well. But the first piece of advice is to not focus on the things that you're not achieving. I feel like right now, you guys, if you're ones, you're really stuck in this mindset of I didn't succeed, I didn't succeed, I didn't succeed. The World card is Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn, and I really get this Capricornian energy coming through with this card of, Capricorns love to succeed. They're all about, meeting their goals and achieving things, and they're most happiest when they are achieving things, right? Same with this World card. You guys are most happiest when you're achieving things. The fact that you can't achieve things, or you feel like you haven't achieved things, has really got you down. But the thing is, when this card is reversed, is there's still achievement there. It just might be smaller achievements. It might not be like world-changing achievement or achievement that people are noticing. It's more of an internal achievement, right? Take this, I feel like the advice that this card is giving and how to deal with the stress is to stop looking at failures as failures. Stop looking at what's blocking you from achieving what it is you want to achieve, and start looking at what you have achieved up until this point. This has been a journey for you, and you're almost at the end of that road, right? The World card is the last card in the Major Arcana, so this journey is almost over for you. You have been on a long journey, and you're only going to stress yourself out by focusing on the negative. This card is saying to start focusing on the positive. There have been successes along your journey. Otherwise, you wouldn't be where you are right now, right? So look at those successes, look at how far you've come in your journey from where you started to where you are currently. Look at all you have achieved along the way, because when you can start looking at, instead of looking at what you haven't achieved, and shift your mindset to what you have achieved, then you're going to send out that energy of achievement, and you're going to be able to draw back achievement to you, which is going to flip this card around. And in turn, when you're feeling achieved, you're less stressed, you're happy, things are better. Another piece of advice, or something that can help you with relieving the stress and dealing with the stress and releasing the stress, is the Eight of Wands reversed. So this means do not hold on to this energy. Don't get stuck in this energy. I feel like when the Eight of Wands is reversed, it is that stuck energy. It's not moving, it's not flowing, it's not releasing. When the Eight of Wands is upright, this energy is being released to manifest. That is the point of it, right? We're sending our intentions out into the universe. We're sending that energy out, and it is manifesting. It's flying out there. When it's reversed, you're not sending that energy out. Instead, you're holding on to it. And that causes a lot of issues. When you hold on to stress, then that starts to manifest physically in your body, emotionally, mentally. It takes a toll on you on all levels. So in order to help relieve the stress, to get rid of it, to release it, you have to literally release that energy, right? Whether that be through grounding it, whether that be through doing some sort of energetic cleansing, or just doing whatever you do to de-stress and, just get rid of that tension in your body, get rid of that feeling, get rid of that mindset. You just have to release that energy altogether. Also, we have the Three of Pentacles coming up. So another thing that's going to help you to release this stress and surrender it and de-stress ultimately is the Three of Pentacles reversed. So not trying to do this alone. When we get stressed out and we feel like we're doing a lot of stuff, and a lot of times when it comes to feelings, it's easy to think that we're the only ones feeling this way and that nobody out there understands, nobody can help us. Famous line is, I just have to deal with this alone, right? This is just something I have to do alone. And I feel like that is the phrase with this card, especially in this reading, is this is just something, that's your mindset. This is just something I have to deal with alone. And that's not true at all with this, at all. This card is saying that you can reach out to other people. These may not be people around you, such as friends or family. This doesn't necessarily mean people close to you, but this means reaching out to people who have had the same experience, who have dealt with stress in their lives, who have been through what you're going through, and talk to them and communicate with them, work with them. They have skills. When people have been through the same stuff you're going through, they learn the skills, they learn from this stuff, and then they can pass that knowledge and that skill set onto you, which in turn helps you learn and grow and move on from this. So it's kind of about that working together collaboratively to learn how to effectively deal with this stress, reaching out to people, whether that be somebody close to you, like a friend or family member, whether that be like a counselor or a therapist or somebody who can help you to gain the skills you need to move past this. And a lot of times it is somebody who has been in your shoes, who has been where you are, who you feel can understand you. So, yes, that last one is you don't have to do it alone. You can reach out to people. It's a lot less stressful of a situation when you feel like you have people there to support you and you're not dealing with everything alone, right? Another thing that you can do is, if you find yourself really digressing back into stress and really feeling stressful and overwhelmed, is just take a step back. Take a step back and take in a few big deep breaths, Become conscious of your breath, and that will help to center you, because that brings you back to the present. When you center yourself, you become very present and you become very aware of where you are, all your surroundings. It brings your attention to the current now, here and now, the present, right? So, taking that step back and focusing on your breath and noticing yourself breathe in and breathe out brings your attention to your physical body in the here and now, in the present, and that helps to center you, which really does help with relieving stress and calming your body and that kind of stuff. So if you're one, you definitely, with this new moon, you want to focus on getting rid of the stress in your life that you're currently feeling, surrendering it, giving it up, and de-stressing, and just There's several ways you can do that. You can do it through being present, being centered, breathing techniques. You can do it through focusing on the positives, focusing on all the achievements that you have and successes that you've had up until this point, so that brings in that happier feeling, that joyous feeling. You can just let the energy go. It's as simple as that. Just do an energetic cleansing of some sort, or do a grounding exercise, or do something that de-stresses you, to just simply let that energy go. The other thing you can do is reach out to somebody. Work with somebody who's been through what you're going through, so that you know you're not alone. You don't have to deal with stress alone. Everyone gets stressed. At some point or another, I guarantee you, everyone in their life has been stressed. You are not the only one, and you're not alone, and you don't have to deal with it alone. So that is ones. So now we're going to move on to twos. So twos, just give me a second, let me switch this over here. So twos, what we have for you. If you chose number 2, with this full moon, what you have to surrender is worry. So if you chose a 2, this new moon is telling you to surrender worry in your life. It says, make a commitment not to lead an anxiety-driven life. When worries arise, breathe them out of your body. Focus on the power of your heart and have faith that Spirit is guiding you always. So the cards that came up with that reading, we have the 7 of Wands reversed. We have the Page of Cups. And we have the Knight of Swords reversed. So first of all, I definitely feel a lot of worry coming through this. I see a lot of worry. I'm looking at this as there's a lot going on in your heads right now. And there's a lot going on emotionally right now for you. And I feel like you're blocking yourself off from a lot of energies. You're trying to contain all this worry and, defend yourself from things, and it's just not working for you, and it's contributing to more worry and more worry and more worry. So first of all, with the worry, we're getting the 7 of Wands reversed. So that's telling me that, anxiety is getting the best of you. Really, this worry and this anxiety that you're going through is causing you to be really defensive. It's causing you to put up barriers, to block yourself off energetically, to become really defensive. It's causing you to be less vulnerable, okay? I feel like you're less trusting of people, because you're worried that somebody's going to hurt you. You're worried that you're going to get hurt. You're worried that maybe their intentions aren't the best. You're worried for whatever reason, you're worried and you feel like you have to have your guard up all the time. You're just not trusting of anything at the moment. It's like this energy of anything could attack me at any point in time, and just not trusting. You're also not following your intuition. You're not listening to your intuition. Because you are so focused on, protecting yourself, you've actually overguarded yourself, I feel like. And in this case, it's not allowing the messages and the help to come through that could be coming through. That's really going to help you to let go of this worry. You've kind of lost that connection. You're not listening to your body. You're not listening to your emotions. You're not. Instead, you're kind of just reacting instead of listening. I also have the Knight of Swords. And again, The Knight of Swords reversed comes up, and that talks about, again, that reaction, right? When this is upright, this is about racing into things, about taking action and not necessarily, when this is reversed, this talks about rushing into things, of taking action before you think things through. Right? This is the type of person who hears something or thinks they hear something or is told something and they just react on it. They don't stop to think it through. They don't stop to analyze things. They don't stop to do anything. They just gone, right? And this can also be jumping to conclusions. Sometimes we think we have all the information we need and we don't. And then we want to rush into action with half the information. And we're jumping to conclusions about things without actually knowing the whole story. And when we worry about things and we have these things going through our head, and this concept of worry, it's easy, super easy to jump to conclusions and build things up in our head worse than they actually are. So what can you do to release this worry? What can you do this new moon and focus on this new moon that's going to help you to deal with this worry, to release it and to let this energy go? First of all, you can open yourself up and be vulnerable. Okay? So I feel like one thing you can do, again, is to let your guards down. When this is upright, this is telling about, I feel like you can see all the wands in front of her, and she's there defending herself. She feels like she needs to defend herself. She's got this fortress built around her. I feel like you just got to kind of take that fortress down. Let yourself be a little vulnerable. Realize that it is okay to feel worry. Okay? I feel like this is you feeling like it's not okay to worry. Like, what comes through is this: why the fuck am I worrying? Pardon my language. But why am I worrying about this? This is so insignificant. This isn't even worth my time. Why am I worrying about it? But you still worry about it. You still give it the time of day. And as a result, you kind of just want to attack it, right? When you think it's not worthy of your effort or your time, we tend to push it aside. We tend to not deal with it, or we tend to get really defensive. And this is saying that you don't have to fight against this worry. It's not a bad thing. Worry isn't a bad emotion. It isn't something that needs to be fought against. It's something that needs to be embraced, because when you can embrace it, and I know you're probably sitting there saying, I thought you said release it. Well, how can I release it if I'm embracing it? You integrate it. You accept it, right? Embracing it doesn't mean holding on to it. So when you let those walls down, you allow yourself to be a little bit more vulnerable. And you say, okay, I don't need this protection anymore, right? I don't need to be guarded. I don't need, for whatever reason, I don't need to protect myself from this feeling anymore. I don't need to guard myself from this feeling anymore, that it's okay to feel this. It's natural, and I can feel it, and I can let it go, kind of thing, right? So the first thing is to stop feeling like it's something negative and stop fighting against it and embrace it a little bit more, because worry isn't a bad feeling, right? It isn't something bad. It's natural for us to worry about things, and there are purposes behind worrying. But I feel like when we view it as a bad thing and we start attacking it, that's when we just create more worry for ourselves, right? And we make things a lot harder for ourselves as well. With the Page of Cups coming up for the advice on how, follow your feelings, learn from this. This is what I was saying. By embracing when you let the walls down, okay, and you stop fighting this feeling, you then take this feeling in. And when you learn from this feeling, which is what the Page of Cups is all about. Pages are messengers, right? So this is saying there's messages coming in through your feelings. So the question is, what's the message, right? What are your feelings trying to tell you? What is the message that they're trying to give you? Are you paying attention to that message? So what you can do to help relieve the worry and help surrender it and help get rid of it is to embrace it, acknowledge it, right? And try to understand it, to listen to it, because it's trying to tell you something. We have feelings for reasons, and feelings come up because they're trying to tell us something. The question is, are we listening, right? So make yourself open enough that you are able to listen to your feelings, to listen to the messages that they're trying to give you, to understand what it is your feelings are trying to tell you. What are they trying to convey? What lesson do you have to learn from them, maybe? Or, why are they there? What are they trying to tell you? What messages are your feelings trying to communicate? So that's another way of releasing it, is to pay attention to what messages your feelings are trying to communicate and try to understand them. So when you learn to understand your feelings, it's easier to deal with the feelings, because then you know exactly what you're working with, where it's coming from, why it's there, and how to move on from it, right? The Knight of Swords is also coming up reversed, which tells me that in order to deal with this, you need to calm your mind. A racing mind does not help worry. It doesn't. When you get worried and you let your thoughts run awry, it just makes it worse, like 10 times worse. So this card is saying slow your thought process down. Start thinking before you act on things. Stop. I feel like with the emotional things, right? Coming off that Page of Cups is telling you not to emotionally react to everything. Don't let your worry control you, right? Don't let your worry push you. Don't let your, how am I going to word this? Don't just react off the emotion itself, right? Take time to calm your mind down. Calm your reactions down. And think about things, calculate things. This is a card of thinking before you act. So that's what you need to do with worrying. You need to calm your mind, because when you calm your mind and you can find peace in your mind, that chatter that causes worry, that inner chatter that you have in your head, seems to subside, and then things don't seem as bad. So you can really understand things, and you can calm your mind, which helps you deal with worry, which, doesn't make things seem so bad. But you definitely have to slow your mind down and really think before you act on things. So if you're a 2, just to recap, you're going to really want to work on dealing with the worry in your life, because you may tend to be overly worried. Also, something else you can do is focus on your heart chakra. Okay, so all of your emotions stem from your heart chakra. But your heart chakra is filled with so much unconditional love, so much. When you pull that energy from your heart chakra into you, do you know what I mean? So I feel like to also help to ease the worry, pull yourself into that heart space, right? Where there is that unconditional love. And that will help you to kind of drill out the worry too. So if you're a 2, you want to work on releasing any worry and tensions and anxieties you have in your life with this new moon. You can do that through working with your heart chakra, right? Do a clearing on your heart chakra if you need to really work with your heart chakra, because that's going to help you. As well as, stop working against the feeling. Integrate that feeling. Stop viewing it as something bad that needs to be fought against, and embrace it. Accept it as part of who you are. Integrate it, but don't dwell on it. Does that make sense? Also, pay attention to the feeling. What is it trying to teach you? What message does it have for you? What does it need you to learn from it? Really pay attention to how you're feeling and the feelings that are coming up, the worry that's coming up, and the message that comes along with it. And then finally, slow your mind down. Meditate on things. Send that worry out to the universe, Just calm your mind. Find a way to shut your mind off and slow your mind down so that you can think before you act, because you don't want to just emotionally react out of fear or worry or anxiety. When you get anxious, when you get fearful, when you get worryful, you can just react to a lot of things, and that does nothing but cause disarray. So you want to be able to slow your mind down enough that you can think things through before you act on them. So that's going to help you, if you are too, with your releasing your worry. At least I hope it will. Okay. So, last but not least, we have number 3s. So number 3s, if you chose number 3, we're going to switch. Oops, I forgot to switch the screen here. We're going to switch the screen is what we're going to do first. The cards that are coming up for you, if you chose number 3. So number 3s aren't being asked really necessarily to surrender as in to release. They're asking to be surrendered as to surrender into an energy, which is a little bit different. So for you guys, if you chose 3, it says surrender to your full power. Your life is calling for you to step into your full power rather than playing it small. So I feel like if you're 3, you're really being called to fill those bigger shoes, right? To stop making these small moves and start making the big moves. To start fulfilling your destiny, so to speak. So what we have coming up for the cards, the tarot cards that were pulled with this, we have the Moon card coming up. We have the Wheel of Fortune card coming up. And we have the 5 of Cups card coming up. So I feel like things that are maybe the reason why you're not stepping into your full power right now could be, you're not quite sure what lies beyond that. You're scared of aspects of yourself, darker aspects of yourselves you don't understand, aspects of yourselves that you've repressed. There's darker natured stuff about you, or things that you consider darker natured that you are not acknowledging and not integrating as part of you, that you're kind of shoving into the shadows. We also have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is telling me that you are kind of struggling to find your way in the universe. You're struggling to accept your fate, your destiny, meaning that you're struggling to know what your purpose is in this world. What did you come here to do? What did you come here to accomplish? Why did you reincarnate? Why did you choose to come live as a human? Why did you choose to live this human experience? What is it that you were supposed to learn from being here, or are supposed to learn? What is your purpose in being here? Okay? So that's preventing you from stepping into your full power as well. And the 5 of Cups. So being scared of losing things. That fear of loss is also preventing you from stepping into your full power. You are worried that you may lose You may lose things along the way, and you don't want to give up on things. You don't want to give things up. You don't want to lose things, which is always hard. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through these cards again and tell you guys how you can really step into your power. So first of all, you can step into your full power from even what this card suggested, and stop playing it small. Stop playing it safe. Stop playing it to what you're comfortable for. Stop playing it for the smaller picture of things, and start playing it for bigger, right? Start looking at how you contribute to the bigger picture of things. Start looking at things from the bigger picture of things and how you can contribute to bigger things beyond just you. I feel like they're saying, my guides are like, beyond them, beyond them, beyond them. So they want you to look at global things. They want you to look at bigger spiritual concepts. They want you to look outside yourself, right? Because we're physical beings, but there's so much more to us than just the physical realms we exist in. And they want you to really tap into that aspect. So how can you step into your full power? First step that you can do, first way you can step into your full power, is embracing every aspect of yourself. So we are all born with quote unquote lighter aspects and darker aspects. We all have a light side to us. We all have a dark side to us. Every single human being on this earth has a dark side and a light side. We are often taught to not embrace the dark. That the dark is bad, the dark should be shoved down, the dark shouldn't be doing, it shouldn't be something you embrace. It's something you try and keep at bay, you suppress, you try and keep under control. And that's not the case. Okay, the way this card is depicted, I don't feel like is quite the accurate. I like the way that the Rider-Waite is depicted of the moon, because it has the moon and the sun. In the moon card, the moon is actually the moon inside the sun, which shows you the duality combining into one, right? It shows you the sun and the moon coming together. It also has two dogs in it, two canines in it. One is a wild dog, one is a domesticated dog, which shows the duality in our nature as humans. We have a very primitive, instinctual nature to us, but we also have that domesticated, we have the primal instinctive nature when we're born, before we're conditioned to anything. And then as we grow and evolve and we kind of grow up in this physical world, we become conditioned and we become domesticated in a sense. Right? So it kind of shows the two natures, two different sides of human beings. But the thing is, sorry, just give me a second. The thing is, with the full moon card, the way the moon works is the moon is only lit up when it takes in the sun's energy, right? The sun shines, the sun's light is what lights up the face of the moon and allows it to be visible to us. So the moon is actually reflecting and absorbing and reflecting the sun's light, so they are becoming one energy. It's an interesting concept, right? So what this card is saying with the moon is take the darker aspects of you. You cannot be your full self if you are only embracing one aspect of you. Okay? You have to embrace the good, the bad, the ugly, the dark, the light, everything in between. You have to embrace all aspects of you and bring them together and merge them into one. Does that mean that you have to express all aspects of you? No. But embracing that these are all things that are part of you and are what makes you whole will allow you to really step into your own personal power, your full potential. Another thing that's going to help you is astrology. So, and I know this is going to sound weird. When I look at this card, one, I see the fates. I see the three women spinning the wheel. I see the Sphinx on top. I see the astrology symbols around the outside of the wheel. So the Wheel of Fortune is a card of destiny. It's a card of fate. It's a card of the bigger picture of things, that sometimes things happen in our lives that are predestined, that are fate. And if you follow astrology, when you are born, your natal chart is supposed to be a map of your soul contracts or things that you agreed to do in this lifetime before you incarnated. It's supposed to help you to learn what agreements you've made, to learn what you're supposed to be learning in this lifetime, to know what your soul purpose is, why you're here, what you're supposed to be doing. That's what our natal charts are. They're an embodiment of that contract, written in code, obviously not English, but you know, if you can learn to decipher that code, there's so much information about your fate hidden in it, and who you are as a spiritual being, not just your fate, but who you are as a spiritual being, who you are in your true form, not just this physical form, right? So the suggestion with this card is to really understand and step into your full power. And in order to step into your full power, you have to understand who you are. And to understand who you are, one way of doing it is through astrology and looking at your astrological chart. So you can either learn astrology yourself, or you can hire an astrologer to look at your chart for you if you so choose to. But I do feel like they're saying, you know, what's going to help you is to understand, again, who you are as a spiritual person, how you fit into the cosmos of things. Whether, you know, it may not be astrology that you use to find this out. I'm just pointing astrology out because the astrological signs jumped out at me, and the way the wheel is set up looks similar to an astrology chart. So, you know, that might not be the way you go, but you definitely have to figure out your purpose and why you're here and who you are as a spiritual being before you came into this physical world, right? And I think that's going to help you. When you can understand who you are in this physical life, it will help you to get into your fullest potential, at least in this physical life. Another thing that's going to help you to reach your fullest potential is the Five of Cups. And I know this is going to sound weird, but dealing with grief and loss is going to help you. When we go through grief and loss, that's like the bottom of the bottom, and we learn our true power through that. We learn our true strength through that. However, there is also, when we go through an awakening of this caliber, I mean, you've got essentially two major arcana cards and an oracle card that I would equate with the strength card. So almost three major arcana cards. So I would say this is a spiritual awakening if I've seen one. When you go through a major awakening or major shift and discovering who you are, parts of you die off, right? Or change. I'm not going to say die off, but they change. And sometimes we can grieve those parts that no longer are. Does that make sense? When we start off as children, and then we go through to teenagers, and then we go through to adults, there's a lot of times as adults we're like, I wish I could be a kid again, right? we miss that aspect of life. We miss how simple that was. We miss how, we were able to just live, and we didn't have to worry about, bills. We didn't have to worry about all this adult responsibility that we gain as we get older. It was just a simpler existence, and we kind of grieve that time in our lives and that point of existence. It's the same with this card. As we grow and evolve as spiritual beings as well, and along our spiritual journey, we grieve parts that have changed. We grieve things that have changed, we grieve things that once were and no longer are. Does that make sense? And part of this grief process, part of going through this grief, helps us to grow and evolve and really reach our full potential. Because we can't grow and evolve if we're still holding on to old things, right? We need to let things go. And that's what this card is talking about. This card is talking about sitting in that energy and being okay with letting things go, knowing that there are new things that can be rebuilt from that, right? You still got those 2 cups behind you. So that's going to help you as well, being able to be okay with this change and, be able to be okay with letting things go. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So if you're a 3, your focus for this new moon is going to want to be around really stepping into your full power as a spiritual being. How you're going to do that, again, stop playing it small. Start looking at things from the bigger picture. Start looking at things as to how, as above, so below. How does your spiritual life fit in with your physical life? How's your physical life fitting in with your spiritual life? That kind of thing. Start looking at the bigger picture of things. Start integrating aspects of yourself that you may have repressed, that you may have shoved into the shadows, that you may be ignoring. You want to reintegrate every aspect of yourself into you so that you can have the full you, so that you can't reach full power at half you, right? You can't reach full power with only half a battery there. Does that make sense? Also, so you're definitely going to want to embrace yourself as a whole, the good, the bad, the ugly. You're also going to want to look into who you are as a spiritual being. What is your purpose in being here? Why are you here? How do you fit into the cosmos of things? What is your reason for being here? What is your fate? What is your destiny? And because when you can understand that, that will add to your power as well. That will help you to understand who you are as a complete and whole being. And another way you can do it is to grieve parts of you that you've lost, things that have changed. Allow yourself to go through that grieving process. Allow yourself to, reminisce over things that you've lost, and that's okay. Just give yourself permission to feel that. I feel like a lot of times we discover our own strengths when we're at the bottom of the bottom. And 5s are the bottom of the bottom. I mean, these cards only go up to 10. So 5 is like literally, you have 10 at the very top, 5 is at the very bottom, and things shift from there, right? So, your true strength comes from that. So you can also discover your power just through grieving things you've lost and allowing yourself to feel these things, to feel feelings that you may have not wanted to feel, facing those tough feelings, facing those tough things, and allowing yourself to understand that things change. And it's okay to miss what once was. It really is. So, I hope that has helped you if you are a 3. So I want to say thank you to everyone who's watching this. I really appreciate it. If these readings resonated with you, please leave me a comment in the comments below. Let me know. I would love to hear the feedback you guys have. Let me know if these readings resonated with you or not. And yeah, so on that note, I think I'm going to log out. So again, thank you guys for watching this, and thank you for joining me. And I will be back next week with some other weekly pick-a-card readings for you all. So have a wonderful week, guys. Bye for now.